glasses crooked?
You can see me?
I cannot see that. Hopefully I'll be able to see.
Alright, we are live.
We are.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew, and this is my beautiful wife, Rhonda. And we are 30 till forever. And we were coming on hopefully prayerfully, about 30 minutes last week. We actually went over because we had some great conversation. We had some good friends that came on and were talking with us about our topic last week. So we want you guys to feel free to jump in and give us comments and and just be a part of our discussion this evening, because we love your feedback and we feed off of your feedback. So please feel free to comment on any part of the topic, and you feel free to ask us any questions as well. My wife, she's been doing a phenomenal job picking these topics for our discussions, because these are actually discussions that we honestly have with ourselves, so we just share them with you. They're not pre-rehearsed or anything, so we really look forward to sharing our conversation with you.
This has a camera on it.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but the camera sucks. The forward camera sucks.
I don't know how this works anyway, so I'm just not going to use it. I'm not going to use it. Okay. Hi. Sorry I've been quiet. I've been trying to figure out how my tablet will hook to my phone. But, yeah, let me take these off. I can't see.
I wish I had glasses so I could see. But,
There you go.
no.
So, anyway, our topic this week, I mean, they kind of keep feeding off of the topics from the weeks prior. And this week we are, if anyone was with us last week when we were talking about dealing with missed, what's the words? My mind's not working right.
When you think about
what you anticipate your marriage to look like and what it actually ends up looking like and how you deal with it.
Yeah.
So when and I was talking about last week, sometimes that people can be real ugly and they'll just walk out when things are not working out the way that they wanted it to work out, but then sometimes they'll just stay just because,
right.
And then they'll have anger issues, they'll hold animosity towards the person that is not living up to what they expected them to live up to. So when you have this week, we are talking about how do you communicate with one another when you are angry. Do you know how to have a decent conversation or to express your feelings and the emotions and things that you're going through when you actually have anger issues? Sir.
And it might not be just issues, it just might be a one-off,
It could be a one-off.
Because at times we all get angry.
It seems like I always stay angry.
You just grumpy.
Grumpy, angry.
No.
Same thing.
But I was thinking about this today because, I think about myself. And because I'm so nice and, I'm free-hearted and I care about people and what people think and how they feel. When I get upset, and this really drives me insane. When I get upset or if I get angry, people act like I don't have the right to ever get angry, which drives me insane.
Really?
Really. Because if I say I don't like something, I don't like it. And they feel some type of way because I say I don't like something. And and if I get angry about something, they look at me like, how dare you be angry? Because Andrew don't get angry, but Andrew does get angry. And people get on my last nerve. I mean my very last nerve.
But when you are angry, how do you communicate what you're going through without stepping out of bounds and losing Like some people say, don't make me lose my Christianity.
Sometimes when I'm at, I really have to think about the next set of words that come out of my mouth when I'm angry. I have to think about them, and I'm not. And a lot of times I'm an epic fail with it because I still say some stuff that'll make people feel some type of way. Because I know I do that with you. And
no, you don't.
Yes, I do. I mean, like you don't know how to say nothing.
I mean, but it's not that you're saying it out of anger. I just think that sometimes you don't think that there's anything wrong with the way you're saying things, or you don't find anything wrong with the way things is. But a lot of times people have to realize it's not always what you say, it's how the person that you're saying it to receives it.
Yeah.
So, especially with me and you, and when we're having a conversation with each other, and sometimes you might just say something and you don't mean anything by it. It's just, it hits my eardrum the wrong way, and I just be like, what did you just say? And then I kind of be ready to go in, but I tend to control myself.
So we're talking about how do you communicate when you're angry? How do you communicate with your spouse or your partner or your friend or anybody? How do you communicate when you're angry? And my wife, she asked me, how do I? And when I'm angry, like I was saying, I try to very carefully choose the next thing that I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And if I can't say anything that's going to be constructive, I choose not to say anything, which appears to some that as saying that I don't care. But it's probably better for me not to say anything in my anger, because I might say something that I know I'm going to regret, that I really didn't mean. Because like you say, it's going to be in the reception of what I say, how it's perceived.
How it's perceived.
And if it comes out while I'm angry, then 9 times out of 10 it's going to be received the wrong way anyway, and which is going to cause a bigger problem.
What I have found with me is if I'm angry and I remain calm with my anger, I'm not taken seriously. So it's like what you say don't really matter. You can keep on talking if you want to, but and if you make me feel like my words are falling on deaf ear and I feel like it's something that I really need you to stop and pay attention to and listen to, I have already thought about it. I've already thought about it and thought of the best way to bring this information to you. But when it seems like it is falling on deaf ear, then...
But let me why do you assume that it's falling on deaf ears? Because there's a lack of response, or do you feel like you just gotta blow up to be heard? Why do you feel? I said that's not me. I don't feel like I gotta blow up for me to be heard. But I don't. And see, I've never understood that. My mom would blow up in a heartbeat. And I could understand. I think that's why I was total opposite of that. Is because my mom had a very short fuse. It didn't take anything to get her started, and I'm total opposite. But you're like that as well. It don't take much to get you revved up. So I'm just curious. How do you just to go to complete meltdown mode when you're angry just so you can be heard? Because to me, when somebody's angry like that, I'm like shutting down and tuning you out once you get loud. I'm like, I'm done. This ain't even worth my time.
Oh, really?
That's how I feel.
Really?
Really, I'm serious, because how many times I tell you?
If there's a moment when I'm having a conversation with you and I'm trying to stay calm, and you go, because you would do this. This is what makes me even angrier when we're trying to have a conversation and I'm trying to get my point across to you, and you just sit there like,
I'm listening,
but you're not responding. And if I don't get a response, it's like, okay, it's if you do not respond and you are taking that moment, and I understand you taking that moment to let what I'm saying to you soak in. But if you don't give me any kind of response and you're looking at me like I'm saying something stupid or I'm speaking a foreign language, then it's like I know you hear me talking to you. And you still be looking at me like, and at that point I'm like,
no,
did he just fall asleep with his eyes wide open?
No, because I was like, yes, I hear you, but
and if you would just say that, but
I do say that
all the time,
and I'm like, okay, I don't have anything to say to that right now. We're gonna have to come back to this, and which causes another problem when you're trying to communicate is when somebody says that, okay, we need to come back to this. And then because people are like, I'm not tabling nothing. Why we gotta come back to it now?
I don't have a problem with putting it causes another issue. But if you just look at me like I've just spoken a different language that you have no idea about what I'm talking about, then I'm like, I know you just heard what I said. But if you still just be sitting there like, then I'm gonna need you to respond, because at this point I'm getting angrier.
But see, but you were in agreement that sometimes you just need to be quiet and think about your next set of words is going to come out of your mouth.
I do agree with that. But at the same time, while you are thinking, let me know. Give me a second. I need to think about this. But you don't always do that. You'll just sit there like, if you sitting there looking, okay, you know what happens when you assume things.
Yeah, but I assume that you know that he's thinking about what got to come out of his mouth next.
I don't, because if you do that, then I'm thinking he didn't. Well, let me try to say this again another way. Still no response. Okay, let me try to say this again another way. Still no response. Lord, please forgive me for what I'm about to say.
You know that don't work, right?
I know that don't work. I haven't done that in a long time. I have not done that. People, I haven't done that in a very long time.
And let me just tell y'all this. If you have to say, Lord, forgive me for what I'm about to say or what I'm about to do, and you still do it, you still got to ask for it. You still got to ask for forgiveness for it, because it's not covered now.
Because you...
Because you still
premeditated. That's a premeditated sin. But my thing is that if I'm talking to you about something that is very serious to me, or something that you have said or done that has upset me, then I need you to say, baby, or Rhonda. No, don't call me Rhonda, because I don't like that when you say call me Rhonda.
Why? That's your name?
Not for you, it ain't.
I can't call you Rhonda.
No.
What am I supposed to call you?
Baby, honey, sweetie, love, sugar, plum. I don't care. Not Rhonda.
That's Rhonda your name.
I don't care. It's not my name for you. I mean,
yes, it is.
You can't. No, you can't call. I don't like it when you call me Rhonda.
On our marriage certificate.
What do I call you?
Andrew. Or babes. Baby. Big Daddy.
Shut up. So it comes down to, honestly, if I'm having a conversation and you have said or you have done something that upset me, and I am trying to get this solved, and I need you to respond and let me know one way or the other that you hear me, that you're thinking about it, and you're gonna try to figure out what we're gonna do about the situation, or go ahead and respond to exactly what it is that I'm talking to you about. Because if you don't, and you just sit there and you just look at me, I'm getting angrier. And I will continue for a little bit. And now I just stop. I used to would keep going until I get a response. Now I have a tendency to just, if you don't want to talk about it, fine. Don't talk about it. I'll walk away, because I know how I can get. So it'd be better for me to walk away and revisit the situation later. Because, like, if I'm having a conversation with you and you have done this before, where you will go to sleep, you'll be looking at me.
You know why? Because we're having this conversation and it's like midnight.
We have done this, and you've been on a sofa in the family room
at midnight.
We don't ever stay. Boy, 9 o'clock hit, we be back there in that bedroom.
59.
Okay, so if you do this and you fall asleep, then that really makes me angry, because I'm already upset. and you're not supposed to go to bed angry. But I'm just like, okay, he didn't want to sleep. He got to get up and go to work. But I might sit there, honestly, and look at you like.
So the question is, how do you guys communicate with your spouse, your partner, your fiance?
Even with other family members.
How do you communicate when you're angry?
When you're angry, do you just let it become a big bomb and blow up?
Do you throw stuff? Do you slam stuff? Which I'm not.
Do you break things?
I'm not an advocate of tearing up anything or
Please don't break none of my stuff.
Slamming door. I don't get how people slam doors. I don't understand. I don't understand that. It's dumb.
Why?
Because the door didn't do anything. What is slamming the door gonna do? You just
letting you know. I know in certain terms. Stop talking. I mean.
I don't get that. I don't get slamming the door.
That's me walking away telling you in a nice way to stop talking to me.
Just say stop talking. Why you just can't stop talking to me?
Because I've done it before and it does not work.
If you slam the door, you just open the door and follow them. So what difference does it make? I don't get it.
Now stop.
No, but how do you guys communicate with your better halves when you're angry?
Do you communicate with your...
Oh, that's a good one. Do you communicate with them when you're angry, or how do you guys let it go?
Even if you're tired, if you get frustrated, do you keep the lines of communication open? Because I know a lot of times, like when I'm in pain, I don't like to talk. When I'm in pain, I don't like to talk. When I'm in my moment of silence, I don't like to talk. I don't like to hear noise. Anything could send me into a moment of anger. I get past it, but I get angry quick.
Yeah, I told you got a short fuse.
We're gonna pray about that. I need that fixed. Cause I noticed that I get frustrated and angry quick. Like today, I had to run some errands. And I don't like going out in public right now. When people are not obeying the social distancing and they're not wearing their face masks and then they're just doing all this stuff that is not protecting you. And with me having an autoimmune disease, I already cringe at the thought of going out. So when people are walking close to me, I'm just like, and I'm thinking in my head, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. And if they hurry and get past me, I don't say nothing. But if anybody know me, if you don't move fast enough, I'm be like, I do. I mean, I'm making some kind of gesture or some kind of noise, like, please get away from me. And I did that today. Like, oh, please get away from me. And I felt kind of bad. But you work here at the store, and you almost brushed up against me. So in my moment of anger, then how did I communicate it? I ain't doing nothing else. Please get away from me. I growled, kind of. He probably did not know what that was, though.
Well,
we have to pray about things like this. I have to get past moments like this.
But you really have to think about how you're communicating with others when you're getting angry. So how are you communicating? Wives, how are you communicating with your husbands? Husbands, how are you communicating with your wives when you are angry? Are you a door slammer, cabinet slammer? Are you a stomper, or do you pound your fist on stuff? Or
do you cry?
Do you curse? What do you do?
Do you curse?
Man,
nobody.
Yes, but what do you do when you're angry? How do you communicate to others when you're angry?
How do you fix those moments of anger?
And see, here's the thing, we should always think about, and we were saying this earlier when we started, like with myself, I don't shut down, but I'm quiet because I'm really thinking about the next thing that has to come out of my mouth.
It's like a shutdown.
But it's not a shutdown. What it is you're trying to de-escalate a problem
before it
escalates any further.
That's good.
And if you are one who has a very short fuse, you have to think about stuff like that. How can I start de-escalating this thing before it gets crazy? And because most of the time when we're upset or when we're angry, most of the time it's over stupid stuff.
I wouldn't necessarily say stupid things, but
it's
maybe
over stuff that
does not matter.
It doesn't matter. A lot of times it doesn't matter either way, but you get upset about
it.
Yeah. We find ourselves alone because nobody wants to be around you because you're a grumpy butt. And nobody wants to always hang around
Oh,
somebody.
you just called me a grumpy butt too.
I did not call you
earlier.
when.
You said I was a grumpy butt. You just a grumpy butt. I said I'm an angry person. You said you a grumpy butt.
When we started
first
show,
started,
I said, you know, you grumpy.
You just said people don't want to be around grumpy people.
People don't want to be around grumpy
people. Like me. What are you? I'm offended.
Why are you offended?
Because people like me.
People do love you. People love you.
I'm not grumpy.
You pick and choose who you grumpy with. When somebody really get to know you, they'll see your grumpy side.
That's not true. I'm not really grumpy. I do have angry moments, but people have to push me to the point where I'm angry. I'm not grumpy.
Okay, love. But how do you guys respond when you're angry? You guys, you can chime in to let us know. Y'all can respond. Give us an answer in the comment section and let us know, how do you respond when you're angry with your husband, spouse, wife, fiance, because we've been, throughout the whole COVID-19 pandemic, you heard from the beginning that divorces are gonna happen, separations are gonna happen because husband and wives and
abuse, all that stuff.
People locked in the house together, and
they're not getting along,
and
they usually was not in that environment 24/7.
Right.
So now they are having those moments where they're having outbursts, and when you don't know how to deal with your outbursts, it comes out in so many different ways, and it's so easy to trigger from one thing to go to another thing, to escalate, as you were saying, escalate to a higher level of an argument, to a fight, instead of stopping and de-escalating and to start with.
How do you guys deal with your anger? How do you communicate with people when you're angry? Like I said, I purposely think about what I have to say. And if I can't figure out what I need to say during that time, I'm just not going to say anything about it, because I don't want to escalate the problem. I don't want to make the problem even bigger than what it is at that time. So, because this is a growing issue right now with the pandemic happening right now.
It's really bad.
Right in front of people. Like you were saying earlier, how you got short in the store today. When you just growl when a store worker got close to you and got too close, so everything is spilling out in the public. What was behind closed doors now is now out in the open. Is out for everybody to see. Frustration is everywhere, and you have to deal with that frustration.
And there's always a way to convey your emotions and the things that you're going through, or even the things that is going through your head, even as it is coming through the whole pandemic thing. Because like in certain areas, like I think it was in Detroit, where the guy got shot in the head just because he asked them to please put on your mask, and they got really upset and they ended up shooting him. And really, just because somebody tell you to put on your mask, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be wearing a mask. Do you have to jump to that level of anger in order to get your point across, that nobody's going to tell you what to do, so you just go and kill them? That's not the answer.
So let me ask you this. I know where you stand on this. When you and your better half, when y'all are angry, one person is angry, I believe in angry sex. Do you believe in angry sex?
You already know I think that's nasty. I don't understand that.
It's a stress reliever.
It might be a stress reliever, but you're not finna jump on top of me and jump up and down until you feel better, because it ain't making me feel better. I can't break nothing. I'm still angry when you finish and you done been turned over.
The fun is you're supposed to be trying to break your partner.
No. Please leave me alone. Do not be thinking that you're finna be kissing on me, touching on me, rubbing on me, doing nothing to me when we angry with each other.
Listen, see, you want to have constructive ways.
That's not constructive.
To ease to ease the tension,
That's
to
not
ease the
constructive.
anger.
That's not constructive. That's nasty.
That is constructive. It's a bona fide way.
Tasha laughed at it. Tasha, is that funny?
It's a bona. Listen,
I'm gonna ask you this, Tasha.
it's a bona fide way.
Believe that is a way to relieve stress when you're angry with the person
that made you angry?
Yeah. Is that a way for you to make it better? Sex?
Yeah.
I know that's what you think. I still say nasty. I don't want to have sex when I'm mad. I need to.
But because I think couples can communicate really well during those moments of passion.
I mean, you can forget that you mad for a few minutes, but then once you done, you still gonna be mad at the end of it. Okay, so I do remember a while back ago, I heard that angry sex was good sex. I tried it. I did. He was enjoying himself too much. I was mad that he was having fun, and I was still mad. And I wanted to hurt him because I was angry and he was enjoying himself. And I'm just like, no, you're not supposed to be enjoying yourself like that. You are supposed to do something to make me feel better.
It relieved my stress.
You wasn't that mad anyway. I was the one that was upset. I tried it. I didn't like it. I don't think I will ever like it. I will not do that again. So just know, you make me mad, you ain't getting none.
Really?
Really.
I'm just, listen.
You ain't getting none. Mm-mm.
But
and then you
listen, couples have got to find ways to
sit down and talk to me. That's gonna break the ice.
Okay, but
fix it first.
You've been talking up to that point.
Fix it first.
We have been talking up to that point.
Fix it first.
We've been trying to communicate up to that point.
Fix it first.
But it's part of the fixing process.
Baby, no, it ain't.
Yes, it is. Because how about
you ain't getting
afterwards?
No,
listen. How about afterwards? You say, man, we shouldn't even have been arguing about this anyway. This is just crazy. And then you just watch it. You let it go.
If I can do that afterwards, then I will be able to do that before, and I'll go ahead and give you some. But if I can't do it before we have the sex, you won't be having the sex. You won't. I'm sorry. If it's going to go away that easy, then you still won't be getting none.
I don't see. I
don't hold sex as a hostage.
No, but I'm just listening.
Communicate.
Listen, Linda.
Baby, we supposed to be talking about talking.
No, we're talking about how do you communicate when you're angry.
Sex is not a communication tool.
That is a communication tool.
How?
You're communicating. You communicate. Tasha says this. She said, "No, we're not having no sex when I'm mad."
Okay.
She agreeing with you.
No sex when you angry. Thank you. I'm going to give it a clap, 2 snaps, and around the world. Girl, no sex when you're mad. None. Ain't happening.
When you're angry, listen.
Hi, Wendy. Nope.
Listen, when you're angry.
It is not a way.
You're trying to communicate with your spouse when you're angry,
Can you please open your mouth and talk to me?
We have been. That's the thing.
Okay.
You've been talking.
Once you fix it, once we get it all out on the table, and you say you sorry for whatever it is you done.
Now, what if you did it?
I don't do stuff to make you mad.
Lies you tell.
Baby, please tell me the last time I made you mad.
It was recent.
When?
You make me mad at least once a day.
Lies you tell.
I'm serious. I don't get mad like I'm ready to throw stuff and tear stuff up.
I don't get mad like that either. You just might make me want to go. But the thing is that as long as we can talk about it without you calling me out my name,
no, I'm not doing that.
Without you putting your hands on me, or without you withholding anything from me, and sex is not one of the things I'm talking about. Or without
I won't withhold that from you.
I know you won't, nasty. But if we can get through whatever it is without us doing any of those things and then having a conversation, then I'm open to a lovely way of
communicating.
So
we're talking about finding ways to communicate with your spouse when you're angry. What if that's a way that you can communicate with your spouse when you're angry? Because some people, they really come together during those times.
Some people like
they
makeup sex. That's what they call it. Makeup sex.
They really come together during that time. That could be their way.
And for everybody who that is your way to communicate with your spouse and to get past whatever it is that is bothering you, kudos to you. It just don't work for me. Period. It don't work.
Listen, I just had to try it,
Okay, but there's other ways to communicate. So
it is. There are other ways to communicate. I know people don't write letters anymore.
That's a good way to do it, though.
When you want to write your feelings down and put them in a letter.
Yes.
But the only thing is, most of the time when you write your feelings down in a letter like that, you know how you're conveying your feelings. And when somebody else read it, like you said again, it'll be an interpretation about how they in the manner that they read it.
So what I found, because I have tried that before, and I have written stuff down, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this to him when I see him. And then I will write it down, and I have went back and I've read it, and I was like, ooh, that was harsh. So I thought about what I wrote down and decided that that's not, at that time, the best way for me to communicate what you're making me feel. So in my moments of anger, I have learned over the years, because I used to be a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I have learned, and no, I was not a husband beater or abuser. I cannot stand you sometimes. I was
sorry.
Okay. So over the years, I have learned that the best thing for me to do is to stop, evaluate the situation as fast as I possibly can in my head, and decide right then and there, is this worth arguing about, or to simply use my mechanism of being sarcastic and just walking away from the situation. So in order for me to get past that first moment, I am sarcastic and I will walk away from it. It's not sarcasm in a way that is offensive. It is sarcasm in a way that still lets you know that I respect you. And whatever it is that we're fighting about or we're angry about, we're going to come back to that. You are quiet, you stop, and you think about it. But these two ways actually have worked for us over the years, right? Because we stop before we say something that we cannot take back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were we like this 10, 20 years, 10, 15 years? I ain't going to say 20 years.
This is all trial and error here.
Right. So over the years,
this is what we've done.
We have learned.
Yes.
We have learned to keep our hands to ourselves and keep our mouths closed. Use a little sarcasm if that helps you work, but don't be disrespectful to either one. You don't be disrespectful to him, and he don't be disrespectful to you. We learned a long time ago, you never ever call a person out their name. You do not say demeaning things to one another that try to tear the other person down. This is something that you do not want to do to your spouse, to anybody that you love. You do not do anything or say anything when you're angry to tear them down, just so that you can feel like you got the upper hand.
And also, when you're angry, do not go outside of the realm of your relationship
and talking to other people about your
when you are angry.
Please
do not do that.
Don't do that.
When you're angry and you're going outside of the realm of your relationship, you're inviting all other kind of stuff to come in. Number one, because you're hearing so many other different voices.
Yes.
And they're all telling you different things. And then you may end up listening to the wrong thing.
Absolutely.
And 9 times out of 10, the person that you would you call it venting to, they're gonna remember everything when you've made up.
Right.
And then they're gonna be looking at you and your spouse side-eyed.
Absolutely.
So you have to be very careful about that, about You know, when you're
Who you
angry,
talk to?
when you're angry, sometimes it's just better just to, if you can't speak to your spouse or your friend, your partner, whoever at that time, if you can't speak to them right then, it's best to just shut up and just lay low for a minute and then come back to it.
Yes, it is.
And yes, I did say shut up, because that's what you need to do. Just shut your mouth, zip it, and then come back to it later with them before you take it to someone else.
Yeah, because I mean, I have not seen a perfect relationship.
No.
I have not seen a perfect marriage. People look at different relationships and different marriages, and they be like, "Ooh, I wish I had
good
that."
ones, but we haven't seen perfect ones.
Absolutely, because no one's perfect. We all have faults, and we all have to learn how to deal with each other.
Right.
And as we live and we grow and we mature together, we learn how to deal with each other's flaws. And if you get to a point in your life where you can't deal with that person's flaws, you might need to pray a whole lot so that you can learn how.
But you need to talk to that person
and
about those
definitely you need to talk to him. If he's leaving his dirty drawers in the middle of the bathroom I'm just saying, these are things that could get on a person's nerve and could make you angry enough to like take all his drawers and just burn them. I know that's harsh, but when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and we've talked about this, baby. We have talked about this, but you still.
But both people have to be willing to make changes and sacrifices to move forward. Absolutely. Both people have got to.
You have to be willing.
You gotta be willing to make changes and sacrifices together in order to move past things that make you angry.
Right. And if you're not communicating with one another, the exact things that make, and this is what I found in a lot of relationships, and I don't know. No, because my mouth is too big. I was finna say it used to be, I would think that it's more so now that I stop and I think about it. But in the past, it used to may have been, not with me though. In the past, I just said what I had to say and I just dealt with the consequences. But I don't do that anymore. But where people will be afraid to say, baby, we need to sit down and talk about this. Because you're doing this, and I know this is something that you might enjoy, but it hurts me or angers me when you do something. Or you do this, or you act a certain way, or you say certain things. It really hurts. And they might be just like letting it bottle up until an explosion happens, because they won't just stop and say, we need to talk about this because this hurts me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't, whatever you do, don't let it bottle up until you explode. Go ahead and talk about it, because if you don't talk about it and that explosion happens, you might not be able to control what ends up coming out.
Mm.
And it's better that you just go ahead and get it out instead of letting it blow out. Yeah, you don't want to have a blowout. And I've had those moments where I've had blowouts, but for the most part, I do talk about things as they occur. It might take me a minute to bring it up, but I do find it easier to just go ahead and bring it to your attention and talk to you about it. Now, with that being said, I feel like you be afraid to talk to me about stuff sometimes, or tell me some things that I'm doing that really irks you. Because like I said, I don't do anything to get on your nerve. I don't make you mad.
If it's something that really bothers me, I will tell you about it. If it's something that's really minute and it really don't make a difference to me, you know, it might be something that just tick me off every now and again or whatever. That don't faze me. That's life. That's easy to get over. Because what was the thing that I came to you about
this past weekend?
What was it?
The fact that I don't know how to ask you to do stuff.
Yeah, now I got frustrated. I really got frustrated because it hit me the wrong
ear. The wrong
it hit me the wrong way. that instead of you asking me to do something, no.
Oh my goodness! No. Okay, we've had this discussion on this channel before. We've had
but listen, it's the way what you didn't ask me. This is what you said. You called me on the phone.
Oh my God!
You had a client. You called me on the phone and say,
come fix my
TV.
I just said, come fix the TV. I couldn't fix it.
You said, come fix my TV and hung up.
I did not.
Yeah, you did.
Baby.
And I said,
baby,
no,
you said, okay, soon as I finished. Because if I had hung up, I wouldn't have heard you say, okay, soon as I finished shaving my head. And I was
it
like,
wasn't worth. It wasn't worth taking it any further than that. But see,
but the thing is that okay. So in that situation, yes, I was telling you, but I was asking you, and I know it's still, regardless, it sounded like because all I said was come fix my TV.
That's
I have
not
a client.
asking.
I said it was telling you, but it was still asking you.
See what I got to do?
It was asking, telling, asking.
Asking, telling, asking.
Baby, but the thing is that you know. No.
But you do it all the time.
But okay, so
you do it all the time.
But you communicated that with me.
I did.
And I said
because it really frustrated me.
But what did I say? Okay, I try to do better. And haven't I been trying? Every time I ask you to do something now, I think about how I'm asking you and pose it as a question and not saying, baby, don't you wanna? Because to me saying, baby, don't you wanna gives you the opportunity to say, yes, I want to do it and I'll do it for you. Or no, I don't want to do it. You say that me saying it like that is still telling you what to do. Yeah. And it's not. It is me. It is the way. It's my way.
It's an implication of you saying what you want without you asking.
I'm asking. It's me asking. I want you to do it. I'm asking you to do it. But if you don't want to do it, just say no. Just say, it's okay. We're communicating. We've already had this discussion. And it is a way for me to be demanding and telling you to do something.
Why should you have to be demanding? See, I don't
listen to
now. See, I don't.
See, you ain't even let me finish. Now this is another thing.
Now this is what upsets you about me. Okay.
This is one of the things that you do when I'm trying to get a point across to you. Before I finish saying what I gotta say, you've already perceived what my statement is gonna be, and you already go ahead and fill in the blanks, and that is not even what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, go. You ain't gotta roll your ass. This is a good topic tonight. It is. But no silence now. Come on, talk.
I need to table this for a moment.
Why do you need to table it for a moment?
So when I am seeming to be demanding and ordering you around and trying to tell you what to do to you, what I'm actually doing is in my way. It's asking you to do things for me. You have stated that you do not like the way that I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, just like you always say, when you do something, I'm going to try to do better.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll try to do better lasts for a minute. And then you kind of fall back on some stuff and back into your old habits. And then on some of your stuff, you keep it up for a good little while.
Mm-hmm.
But with me also, and I have said this before, with me doing the baby don't you wanna, because you don't like that. Now, people, if someone asks you or someone say to you, hey, don't you want to go to lunch today? Is that like, or if they say that to you, is that asking you a question? Don't you want to go to lunch? Don't you want to go up the street? Or don't you want to go get my car for me or something like that? Is that not a question? Is that not giving you the opportunity to say yes or to say no? Because if that's a question that's giving you the opportunity to be able to say yes or to no, or to say no, that is being asked a question. It's not demanding, go get my car. Oh, you going to lunch with me today? That's the difference. That's the only thing I'll be trying to express to you. It's the way that I ask the question, but I'm still asking you. I'm not demanding. I'm not saying.
But it's not like it's the way that you imply it when you say it.
It might be, and because you don't like that, I'm working on it. Whew, that discussion is over.
So, so how do you guys communicate with your spouses when you're angry?
Do you take the time to actually sit down and to reason it out and to discuss it to where you come to a conclusion? Do you table it for a later discussion, or do you just move past it? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you guys do?
Or do you decide to just have sex and put it behind you?
Which, like I said, that is an awesome reliever to let things go. Because most of the time you'll think about it, you're like, man, that wouldn't even worth getting upset about anyways. Because it has given you some time to
enjoy
de-escalate
and
and enjoy your spouse. And then you think about it, you're like, man, that wasn't even worth it.
It was not.
I love you, baby.
I love you, sweetheart.
Exactly. See? That's why we need to try that.
No.
Lord, just forgive my wife. Because she won't try.
I try lots of things, and I've done that before, and that is a no.
Oh, man. Well, guys, listen, we went over a little bit this evening. We appreciate you guys tuning in.
How long are we supposed to be on?
7:30.
Oh, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm thinking we got 15 more minutes.
No, it's supposed to be just 30. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You can look for us on YouTube as well because our YouTube channel is up. We don't have that much content up on the YouTube channel yet.
Even though we have a year's worth of videos.
Yeah, we got a lot of uploading to do where you guys can go back and actually watch other episodes.
But at the same time, okay, before we close this out, I really, really, really cannot stress enough how important it is that you learn a technique that works for you and your spouse of communicating openly about everything. If it bothers you, you still need to talk about it.
Right.
No matter what it is. If it might hurt his feelings a little bit when you say certain things, or he might hurt your feelings just a little bit, but at the same time, you sit there and you talk about it until you can get past it. And you don't talk. If you get angry, table it. Come back to it after you've thought about it and you figure out a way to communicate it with one another in a better manner. But don't just sit there and look at each other like she's speaking Chinese and he's speaking Japanese and I don't know where you're coming from with this. Sit there and say, okay, wait a minute. We're getting a bit angry.
And don't use these when you're communicating like this. Don't use these sessions to point out
each other's flaws. Don't do
that.
Don't do that. That should be done at some other time.
Right. Because people they'll use these as dump sessions.
Oh yeah,
and then make the problem a whole lot worse than what it is. Do not make these issues dump sessions on your spouse. Use these sessions to be able to correct small problems before they become big problems within your relationship.
Absolutely.
And you guys can. And you can roll with things. And a couple of things my wife said was, we were saying earlier, table some things.
Table it.
And a lot of people don't like to table stuff. They're like, no, we don't talk about it now. No, table it for a minute until you cool down and then come back. Because sometimes you would think about stuff, wow, okay, I got a different view of this now. Because you've thought about it. You're not in the heat of the moment. And then also, just take the time to pause and listen, and then if you can't come up with something good or nice or constructive at that time, say, okay, I can't comment on this right now. We're probably going to have to back down for a little bit if we can. And
that's the thing, too. Earnestly listen to what your partner is saying to you. Right. Listen intently. Let them know that, okay, I hear you. Listen.
Right. Listen.
Okay.
He said, okay. Well, guys, it has been amazing to be with you guys this evening. My name is Andrew, and this is my beautiful wife,
Rhonda.
I like how you did that. But, guys, it's been amazing to have you guys with us this evening. Look for us on YouTube, 30 Till Forever. We'll start putting up content up on those pages where you guys can be able to find us and go through a lot of content that we have. We'll try to get as many videos as we can uploaded to our YouTube channel. So there might be a certain subject that you want to go back and watch and just get feedback on. And please feel free to ask us any questions that you like concerning anything when it's dealing with marital issues, personal or
marriage.
Yeah, ours. And you can ask us, how did we do this, or have we experienced this, and we'll be open and honest with you.
Because we've experienced a lot in these 30 some odd years of marriage.
So, guys, y'all have a wonderful evening. We love you. We can't wait to see you again until next week. I can't wait to see what topic my wife's going to come up with our discussion for next week. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
She's looking like, yeah. But, guys, y'all be good. We'll talk to you later. Y'all be good. Bye.
Be blessed. Stay strong. And always communicate with one another.